You'll never be sexy enough, successful enough, or submissive enough to get a man to fully commit to you if he doesn't have a vision of commitment already in his heart. You can't plant a seed of commitment in a man. It has to be something he plants and you water. If you've never heard an inclusive guide about what all men want, get ready for it right now. There is a belief that gay men and straight men are so different. Lies. While it's true, they may like sex from different genders, at their core, their hearts are the same. Now, of course, it's going to depend on the man you talk to because every man is going to have different desires. Some are just looking for a partner that is stunning to the eye. Their ideal mate is in shape, dresses well, and their hair is flawless. Other men are more concerned about having someone who will partner well with raising a family. They are trying to raise some kids, send them off to college, and have some good old grandbabies. And other men want to be a power couple, so they need someone with some achievements, good drive, amazing ambition, and some charisma to match to make them look twice. So, as you can see, what men want is a case-by-case situation based on the type of man you encounter. But what a man needs, even if he doesn't admit it, is the same across the board. So here are 3 things every man needs to have successful love. The first thing he needs, vision. The first thing a man needs to commit to is vision. Let's be honest, most marriages lasted throughout history because a man had a vision of his life, which included a spouse and children. That commitment was not an optional addition to his life. It was the goal of his life. A partner was filling more than his bed. It was fulfilling the mission of his existence. You'll never be sexy enough, successful enough, or submissive enough to get a man to fully commit to you if he doesn't have a vision of commitment already in his heart. You can't plant a seed of commitment in a man. It has to be something he plants and you water. So you can't give a man a vision. He has to discover it himself, and you support him on his love journey. To make a man commit is never to have his true commitment. He will always look to you as the reason he is stuck with an obligation. Instead, remind him of his vision to have love and commitment in his life. When is the last time someone asked him what lasting love really looks like to him? I can bet he won't mind talking about that because a man is always ready to talk about his vision when someone really cares to ask. This means you have to override your natural desire to pull him to your side and instead take time to understand his side. You have to be willing to reach into the depths of his being and fan into flame that flickering light of commitment that has been burning all of these years, probably since he was a child. You have to be more than a sex toy. You need to be a soulmate who reminds him that life is pointless, meaningless, and insignificant without achieving the hopes and dreams of his vision. What you're really doing is giving him the gift of realizing his highest potential as a man, fulfilling his vision. The second thing he needs is support. In order to help a man fulfill his vision, you're going to have to be a team player. He has to feel like you're on the same team with him. It's not enough to be his cheerleader. It needs to be undeniable that you have his back, connecting with him and supporting him on the deepest levels. Part of fulfilling his vision is connecting to something bigger than himself. He can naturally find this in team dynamics. So whether it is pride for his country, army, military, or a sports team, or even a local group of men that get together and play cards, or his crew. Men ride or die for their teams. Now, I have 6 ways in my new book, Dating Men, but I'll give 2 of them here on how you can develop team dynamics. First one is us versus them. Create an us versus them dynamic. Teams create bonds and forge a distinct culture with their own traditions inside jokes and values, and it sets them apart from other teams. You want him to feel like you have a seamless us versus them feeling inside of your relationship. You should be able to have your own language, made up words and jokes that no one else will understand. This fosters a healthy source of identity and belonging that every man longs to have. The second one is status up, status down. There are always people on a team who are the star players and those who are supporting players. Part of team dynamics is learning where you fit at a given moment. You are open to where you are now, but accept that it can change in a moment. When a man feels like he is on a team with you, he is open to concrete, real-time feedback about laundry not done well or dishes not put away. Again, he can accept his role as a supporter in some areas while embracing and possibly celebrating his star role in others. In your team, who is the star organizer and who supports? Who is the head chef and who helps out? Who takes the lead in intimacy and who is a happy and willing participant? This approach offers a sense of identity, belonging, and value. Support is huge for men, but it's hard to support a man you aren't friends with. And that leads to my third and final point of what men really need: friendship. You probably thought the third thing was going to be something like sex, right? No. Let me get a little clinical for a moment before I share the practical reason for this point. When men are young, they develop friendships naturally. The older they become, the more difficult it is for them to make genuine and lasting connections. Young boys know by late adolescence that their close male friendships put them at great risk to be labeled as girly, immature, or gay. So they focus on not being something instead of who they really are: loving, caring, considerate. And when men don't want to appear weak or vulnerable, they ignore the importance of deep male interactions and friendships. Instead, they settle for party buddies, sports teammates, and colleagues who talk sports, sex, and money. These are activities-based friendships that can still leave him lonely. And sure, he'll have plenty of close associates, but how many of them really know who he is within? How many of these guys can they share their emotions and pain points without feeling insecure or uncomfortable? Probably not many, if any at all. You are his answer. No matter how frustrated you may be about him not committing to you already, you are his solution. If you really feel he is the man God has for you, you are called to be his friend. The book of Proverbs mentions that a friend sticks closer than a brother. You're the friend he needs to get beyond the surface level interactions he has grown so accustomed to. You are his main space to be vulnerable and honest and emotionally secure. If you don't want this charge, you don't want a man. And while he may never say that he needs you as a friend, you definitely will know that he appreciates it. There is not one man that didn't want to mate as a friend. In fact, if you ask most men who are in long-term relationships, they will tell you that their partner is one of their best friends. Getting a man to commit to any relationship requires building a relationship. Does that make sense? You can't ask him to commit to something he doesn't already see. Well, you can, but it's not going to turn out well. Imagine someone you're kind of close to walking up to you and asking you to commit to a new venture, but has no solid or valid evidence of what the benefits would look like to work with them, you would ask for some proof. Building a friendship is evidence that you are there for your man. So he doesn't have to commit to a theory when he has the facts. A man wants your friendship, but first he has to trust you. Vulnerability doesn't come after trust, it precedes it. Friendship isn't going to be possible until you develop trust first. That means the relationship you want, he won't give you until he feels friendship first. So ultimately, a man won't commit to you until he can trust you. But Byron, I've spent time with him, went on many dates, and met his friends. And that's nice. But so have his other friends he has not opened up to. It's sufficient for them because they aren't trying to get him to commit to a long-term relationship. You are. So you have to do more work to develop trust that invites vulnerability. Look, you can't settle for the surface level conversations and engagements and think commitment will just happen. You have to dig deeper and become a true friend, closer than a brother. Now, I know I've given you a lot to consider in these few moments, but here's my simple truth to sum this up in one word: positivity. Men ultimately want positive outcomes. That means they need positive people around them and positive environments in their life. To help a man with his vision of a relationship, to lend him support, and to become his friend, you must be positive. Sounds simple, right? But in a society where shading people, reading people, trolling people, ghosting people, and even putting people in situationships, staying positive just doesn't seem natural. If you watch enough Housewives reality TV, you will walk away thinking the standard way to respond is through nasty texts, disappearing acts, and aggressive arguments. Positivity just is not many people's first option. But to give a man what he really wants and needs, you're going to have to grow up and find a spiritual practice that keeps you cool, calm, and collected. Because the man you want is ultimately looking for the positive person of his dreams. If you can be that positive person that becomes a friend who supports his vision to become his highest self, you will tap into his needs and create a path to real and long-lasting love. Hey, look, love hero, I'm always here to support you. I'm believing that you can still find the love that you deserve. Remember, you deserve the love you seek, so seek higher love. Be blessed, and until next time, stay the path.